Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Salem. And tonight we have a question from Elfenbow. And it is a question perfectly suited to a 2-minute vlog. Why is there so much suffering in the world? Now, even I am not going to attempt to answer that question completely in a 2-minute vlog. Many different religions have wrestled with this idea, and perhaps I will contribute a couple of comments to it. We do talk about it a little bit in the various books that I've written, but I think that the most common cause of suffering is perspective. I personally don't know anyone who has as many problems as people who have never had real problems. Very often they will go through the agonies of horrible, horrible spasms of agony over situations other people would take in stride. Why? Because they've never experienced it before. Others who've experienced it look at it very differently. I think this is true for many aspects of human suffering, that it's entirely a perspective of how it strikes the person and the level that they look at it from. Many years ago, when I was younger, I watched talk shows. Why? Because I had nothing better to do. But I used to watch Donahue quite a lot, and Donahue was a very good talk show, very thought-provoking. And I believe this was Donahue. It could have been the early days of Oprah, but they had a show about weight loss, and they had the mandatory weight loss guru. And it was a woman who had lost a huge amount of weight and was very much a cheerleader for weight loss, but she was also rather bitter. And she made the comment that no person who was overweight could possibly ever be happy. And I remember thinking, even at the time, there were people who lived through the concentration camps in Germany, went on to rebuild their lives and find happiness. There are people who are quadriplegic or otherwise severely disabled who lead happy lives. What do you mean you can't be overweight and be happy? Well, obviously, she could not, and that was fine. Others can. Perspective, level. I have done a lot of work over the years with the disability movement, partly because I spent some time myself being bedridden and unable to walk. One of the things I learned is that, learned both through my own situation and through later interaction with the disability movement, is that you can be profoundly disabled and have a wonderful life, and tremendous amounts of happiness. Similarly, you meet able-bodied people who have no problems by comparison, who are miserable. Well, I would say that in many cases, suffering is a matter of attitude. And to some extent, you just have to make up your mind you're not going to, and you're going to resolve your situations when they come up. Now, I say that like I practice it all the time, and of course, everyone has certain moments of suffering, sorrow, and depression. And you don't always handle your problems as they come up. You don't always handle them correctly. That's part of being human. But I would still say that in many, many cases, it's how you look at it that determines whether it is or is not suffering. So hopefully, Elfenbow, that answers your question. And until next time, may you blessed be.